If you're on the lookout for a way to cover science that is completely different to anything you've ever tried before, science that is fun, engaging, but yet academic in nature, then you want to stick around for today's video. Today I'm going to take you for a look inside the Arludo Science program. I will share with you who is behind Arludo, exactly what the Arludo program is, why they created the program in the way that they did, and what makes it different from other science programs that are out there. I will also give you a glimpse inside some of the lessons that Arludo has on offer. Of course, I need to share what we liked about the program and what we didn't like about it so much. So we as a family have been using Arludo Science now for about the past 8 weeks, and I figured it was a great time whilst it's all still fresh to jump on and share our thoughts and feelings on the program with you. So this particular 8-week block of Arludo covered the living world, but I'll get more into the actual topics a little later on in the video. Now, Arludo did gift us this term of their program for us to try out for ourselves. But everything I'm about to share with you are my complete and honest thoughts, positives and negatives about the program. If you're new here, I'm Kylie. I've been home educating since 2007. If you're on the lookout for resources, curriculum recommendations, day in the lifestyle videos, and general how to homeschool advice or tips and tricks of things that I've learned in my 15 years of home educating, then this is the place to be. So please take a moment to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos. And if this is your first video that you're here watching, be sure to go back and have a look through my collection of other videos here on the channel. Okay, so let's get straight into it, shall we? Why was Arludo created? Arludo is an Australian company and it has been founded by Michael Kasimovic. Sorry, Michael, if I'm not pronouncing that correct. It's a bit of a mouthful, that one. Michael is an associate professor and an evolutionary biologist. And I asked Michael directly about this. Why did he create Arludo? And this is what he had to say. I developed Arludo 6 years ago because I felt that education wasn't keeping up with technology and the way students viewed the world. I additionally felt that the way we taught science as a bunch of facts that needed to be memorized was outdated in a world where everyone has access to Google. Instead of focusing on knowledge, I wanted to focus on discovery, exploration, and critical and analytical thinking. I wanted to get kids excited about doing stuff. Michael's passion behind his why is exactly what we need in education today. And I'm so thankful that he and others like him are going forth and creating these amazing resources, and that they're not just more of the same old, boring, science-based textbooks that are rewritten or updated every couple of years and passed across our children's desks. Alright, so what exactly is the Arludo program? Firstly, as I mentioned, this is an Australian company and they are working to change the way students see and use science in their daily lives. It is all linked to our Australian National Curriculum Standards, and it teaches science in an engaging, interactive way using video game-based apps, augmented reality apps, online worksheets, and personalised feedback from a scientist. I actually went looking at the website a little bit more deeply and I came across this particular quote from Michael, and I really wanted to share it with you because I think it really explains his driving force behind creating Arludo. Science is continuously misunderstood, misused, and politicised by the leaders we count on. We want future leaders, today's children and young adults, to have a much healthier relationship with science and the thrilling role it can play in their daily lives. That's what drives us. So what makes Arludo different to the other science programs that are available to us? I think the key difference to this program, there's no workbook in sight, no textbook, no workbook, nothing like that at all to place in front of your children. In fact, nothing is written down. Well, nothing that we did in this particular term anyway. I can't speak for the other lessons that are there, but nothing we did this term is written down as part of the program. However, one thing I noticed is the kids are most definitely engaged, using their brains, thinking hard, thinking critically, and doing that a lot with each lesson as the lesson guides them through the interactive worksheet. And so each lesson also includes the minimum of at least one YouTube style video clip. They have the use of a game-based app. Each lesson has a component on exploring data and then looking back and then analysing that data and providing feedback directly to the students on their thoughts as they come to the end of each weekly lesson. Let's move on to what we liked about this program. As I mentioned earlier, this 8-week block saw us focused on the living world. Now, each lesson revolved around that. We covered topics such as predator and prey, how animals parent, how organisms change, how animals communicate, and why they look the way they do, and more. And I was very pleasantly surprised to see just how much was actually covered in this 8-week block, and that it was at a level appropriate for my 13-year-old. I really enjoyed that in most cases, the lessons were completed within about an hour's period with no pen or pencils, paper, or anything like that needed at all. As I mentioned, each lesson contains online worksheets, but these are simply not just fill in the blank like ordinary standard worksheets often are. They are a combination of multiple choice questions along with loads of scientific questioning and hypothesizing taking place. The other thing that I love is at the end of the week, after you've finished the lesson and submitted all your worksheet answers, you get feedback and response back from someone at Arludo. And they aren't just generic replies either. They are genuine responses to the child and the thoughts and the thought processes that the child has gone through on the worksheet. I loved that about the program. And for me, as the educating parent, I think that was one of the best parts of the program. And we didn't know that we were getting that until the end of our first week when we got the email back and we're like, oh my goodness, he's actually responded directly to everything that we've submitted into the online worksheet. So that is a real bonus to this program. And it is a fabulous touch and really makes this program feel so much more personal. Each lesson also contains a series of YouTube clips which explains the concept to the kids. It shows examples of the concepts being explained, and where appropriate, it actually has the children interacting with the videos as well. Like here at the end of this video where they've asked a question of the children, and the children need to choose the appropriate answer from either of the two that are on the screen. As they choose that answer and click on that, that will then take them across to another video where they will then see whether they've got that answer correct. So I found that interactivity with the YouTube videos a really nice touch as well. And we were all impressed by the fact every single week we were using a brand new app. That's a lot of work. A lot of app developing certainly went on behind the scenes to create and launch this program. And all of us certainly commented on how much time and effort has been put in to Arludo. The apps themselves are all very different from week to week, and it depends on the topic covered as to what the app is like. Some are really quite involved and others not so much. As a parent, I really appreciate the opportunity to collect and explore the data that is presented at the end of each lesson. But this isn't something, in my experience, that I have found that comes up a lot in other science-based programs. Exploring data is something that we kind of need to make an effort to do, whereas with Arludo, it's built in as part of each weekly lesson. So this gives us an opportunity to view various graphs, discuss them, reflect on them, answer some questions about the graphs, and also make some future predictions around the particular topic we were studying. Interpreting data is a really important part of science, and so again, kudos to Arludo Science for including this in every single lesson. I really liked that part. I actually also really like that this is just an 8-week program because it just gives you that little bit of breathing room, especially if there are any lessons that you want to explore further. So you've got those couple of extra weeks each term that you can do so if you wish. And as I said earlier, I really loved that the online worksheets that the students work on and submit are thoughtfully responded to by someone at Arludo. And like I said before, no generic responses. They are actually responding directly to what the child has written in their worksheets. I feel that part is a really nice way to finish off the lesson, because generally we'll try and do the lesson early on in the week, then come Friday we will get the feedback from Arludo. So before we start the new lesson, we will go in, read the responses and have that nice completion to the end of each lesson before we move on. Okay, so what didn't we like about Arludo? We all know there's no such thing as a perfect program. So different things are going to work for different people. So these are just things that I have picked up, I have noticed. They may be different for you depending on your situation and your circumstances. So firstly, the thing that stood out to me is that there is no written work. Nothing is written down. So if that's important to you, to have some kind of written record of what you're doing, then you may need to add to this program. And look, it will be as simple as creating some kind of notebooking page, or having the child do a narration and you scribing for them, just covering what they've learned in that particular lesson. Although I do need to point out, at the end of the week, when the online worksheet is sent back to you with their responses, that is sent in a PDF. So you can easily print that out and have that as your record for the particular lesson if you choose. Now this is only minor and it was only a couple of times, but there was the odd time that we felt that the lessons were a little bit disjointed, or that they just didn't run as smoothly as they possibly could have. At times, as I said, although not very often, we did feel that some of the instructions came a little late in the lesson when they probably should have been given to us earlier on, and we would have had a better understanding of what was expected of us throughout the lesson. They were very minor and they were always things that we could rectify by the time we got to the end of the lesson, but it was something that we did mention a couple of times throughout this term. And so the other thing that I feel is a potential hindrance for this program, and especially for Australian home educators, is the price point. Currently, it is 100 Australian dollars for one term of Arludo Science. So yes, that makes science an expensive subject to tackle for a year. Now, as I said, there are so many good things about this program. There really, really are. And so I'm looking at this in terms of your average home educating family and the average budget, and having $100 a term may be stretching it, although Michael has given me a discount code and I will leave the details of that in the description box below. If I took the pricing out of the equation, this is a neat program. It's very well thought out, it's well designed, and it absolutely has the kids that are using the program at the forefront. That is, you can absolutely see that that is their main goal, that they want the children using the program to be actually truly engaged in the program. We're not just covering science because we have to cover science. We're learning science because it's an important, valuable thing for us all to learn, and it's exciting to learn about the world around us. You can really tell that Michael and his team's main goal here is for the kids to love coming to their science lessons. And for the most part, I absolutely think that they have succeeded in that. And I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing where Arludo is in the future, because we were all engaged in this program every single week and we learned so much. And I feel that we cover a decent amount of science here in our home, but we certainly learned things that we have not touched on before in our years of home educating. Don't forget to check the description box for the code. And if you'd like to see any other curriculum or book products, I will leave links to those on the screen here for you now. If you have any questions at all about Arludo, pop them in the comments field below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, bye for now.